name is Brian Lynch, and I'm honored to have Captain Corey Pass support me in this story.
So who's worked and worked and worked, and when you get out of work, you're just drained? I mean, just drained. Can you give me a show of hands? Then you know what it's like to not even want to look at whatever you've been working on for one more second. Not one more second. For me, that was refrigerators, stoves, and compressors, because I worked at Sears at the package pickup. Well, that night, when I finally got off work, I was headed to the parking lot, and the phone rang. How many of you have a friend that doesn't have a car? I mean, just period. Not their car is in the shop, but they have to manage work, life, getting kids to school, and no car. Again, raise your hands. And how annoying is it when they ask you for a ride the night that you're drained and you don't feel like doing anything but going to bed? Skip the refrigerator, the stove, the cooking, the eating. Do not pass go. Just go to bed. And the real question is, would you do it? Would you take your boy home? Would you? Yeah, I would say most of you would. Well, spoiler alert, I answered the call. So here I am driving one of my boys home, and this shouldn't be too bad because he literally lives maybe 10 minutes away from his job, not even that. I'm driving dog-tired, and he's dog-tired too, because that's the jobs we have. And 2 or more, 3 minutes down the road, he's asleep, and a police car pulls behind me. Now, how many of you have experienced that moment when it's not until a car pulls out behind you or a police car pulls out behind you that you realize the speed limit has just dropped? I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but I'm going somewhere with this. So again, thank you for showing us your hands. So that is what happened to me. I looked at the speedometer. I was going 42 on a road that just dropped from 40 to 30 miles per hour. So what would you be thinking at that point? Raise a hand if you'd be thinking, oh, darn it, I hope I just get off with a warning. I hope I don't actually get a ticket. And now raise 2 hands if you're thinking, just give me a ticket. Don't take me to jail, and please, may I end up alive at the end of this night. Because when the police car pulls out, I could barely breathe. My hands were clenching the steering wheel. Images of my cousin being kicked over and over by 2 officers were flashing in rhythm with those swirling red lights. And with the sound of the sirens, I was brought back to my last experience with the police, where I went to jail for a DWI on New Year's Eve. Even though I wasn't even driving, I was parked. I tried to keep breathing as I rolled down the window, and the officer asked, "Are you aware that you were driving 42 and a 30? Yes, sir. They took my license and eventually came back, but now there were 2 more police cars pulling up. Smells like marijuana in your car. Would you step out so we can do a search? How many of you at that moment would have said, no? I'm exercising my 4th Amendment rights. You cannot search my car. And how many of you know you don't have these rights because the statistics are bad? 2 black men in a car, 6 white police officers, Richardson, Texas. It's not really a question. Some white officer says he smells marijuana. There is probable cause. And probably they're going to search your car the easy way or the hard way, and the hard way is not good. It is not good. I step out. They found no bag, but they scraped up enough in the back seat, the trunk, and the floor to gather a gram of weed. The smallest amount a man can buy, $15 worth. They put me and my boy back to back in handcuffs. It was overkill for a gram, overkill. And my homeboy was just terrified at that point because he knew he had a warrant. He knew he was going to jail. and I knew I would be the one who was going to have to figure out how to get the money to bail him out. And as they put us in handcuffs, one of the officers approached, shooting a video of us getting arrested on his phone. He was laughing, saying something like, "Look, I got the bad guys." And then he started taking pictures of us like we were some trophy animal that he had caught. My homeboy starts cussing, "What the fuck? This isn't right. Why are you taking pictures of us? For what? What are you doing?" And the cop just put the phone away and walked off. It could have been a warning. "Remember, young man, the speed limit drops by Montgomery Street." It could have just been a ticket. "I'm sorry I have to give you a ticket. It's easy to miss those signs." But no, it becomes a full-on search to find something criminal they can get me on. When you get stopped for a small speeding ticket, do they search your car? Do they humiliate you, mock you, take personal photos and videos of your struggle for home entertainment? Is it fair that one person has the expectation of a slap on the wrist or a speeding ticket at worst, and the other being sent to jail and even beaten or killed? Or is your version of fair when two people walk into a police station that they get the same respect or the same charge for the same crime, 2 joints worth of weed? Is it fair that one man was given the opportunity to redeem himself, that one is seen as a young, white, and full of potential? An excellent candidate for restorative justice, don't you think? And the other person gets a permanent label on their record that makes it almost impossible for them to make it past the label. How fair-skinned is the U.S. version of fair? I have another one. What is luxury? A nice car, a restaurant meal, a beach vacation, all of those things are luxuries, right? You wouldn't consider getting pulled over for a speeding ticket and not going to jail to be a luxury. Or receiving a punishment that fits the crime, that's not a luxury either, is it? Or surviving an interaction with law enforcement, that shouldn't be a luxury, right?
Fair is fair. Liberty and justice for all. But who was that designed for? When the Constitution was written, we were slaves. So who is the all exactly? And have they clarified if black people are actually included yet? Tell me, are we included yet? As a black man living in the U.S., it feels like a privilege if you're not in jail. Freedom is a luxury. Fairness is a luxury.